We have a ton of updated guidance and clarifications on the EIDL loan and the EIDL grant. This is something that we wished we had like 6 months ago when the EIDL loan program especially came out. This is an 11-page document. It's heavily focused on the EIDL loan with a little bit of EIDL advance information sprinkled on there, but I think it's insanely valuable, so I wanted to go through this PDF and add some additional clarification and thoughts on the individual items. And let's just go ahead and jump right in here. So we have this frequently asked questions sheet. This was really hard to find for some reason, but you have me here to go through it with you. So first question. A lot of these are on the EIDL loan, like I said. What do I need to submit with my application for the EIDL loan? Simply complete your businesses or nonprofits information on the streamlined loan application at this link. Number 2, if I applied for a COVID-19 EIDL loan and haven't heard anything about my application, should I reapply? No, if you reapply, the duplicates just simply won't be processed, and you can call this number that we have here if you haven't received any notice yet. I know a lot of people have recently received emails regarding their loan that they applied for like 6 months ago. I need help completing my application. Can the SBA help me? Yes, they can if you call this number. My loan is currently in the reconsideration process, or I've requested more money. What will happen after the deadline passes? So there's a bit of an extension on the deadline here. So it's been extended until December 31st, 2021. So odds are you're still good and you can still submit for reconsideration. Can I request reconsideration after the deadline is up? Yes, you can. You have up to 6 months after the date of the application that it was declined to request reconsideration, but there's a bunch of paperwork that you need to submit, and I'm going to go over that in just a minute. You can send reconsideration requests to this email address, or you can mail it here. I mean, the email is going to be the way to go, if we're being honest here, though. The process and required documents may vary depending on the reason why you were declined. Again, there's more on that later. If the decline letter requests specific information or documentation for reconsideration, you must include those items, but also include the business's name, the borrower's name, the tax ID number, EIN, or social security number for the business. If you're a sole prop, it'll likely be a social security number. If you're like an LLC, it'd be the tax ID more likely. Application or your loan number, and your IRS form 4506T. That way they can get a transcript of your latest tax return. Now here's a nice little graph on the difference between the EIDL loan and the targeted EIDL advance. So here's a short description. This is a long-term direct loan. The advance is a targeted advance for those who are in a low-income area, saw more than a 30% reduction in revenue, and have 300 or fewer employees. The purpose is pretty similar for each, to cover operating costs or other business expenses. The only difference is the loan you have to pay back, the advance you do not. The amount available, up to $150,000 on the loan, up to $10,000 maximum on the grant, or $1,000 per employee, or if it's a targeted grant, you may be able to receive the $10,000 or top up $10,000 from whatever you received last summer to now, and you'll receive an email in order to apply for the targeted EIDL advance. I have another video that covers the email you'll receive and the application portal there. Here's the terms: 3.75% interest for businesses, 2.75% for nonprofits. There's no terms here because it's an advance, it's a grant. Collateral required for loans over $25,000, no collateral on the advance. Personal guarantee for loans over $200,000. That doesn't make total sense to me because the maximum is $150,000, so that must not be a concern for pretty much anyone. Of course, no collateral for the grant. Is it forgivable? No, it's a loan you have to pay back. If you're looking for a forgivable loan, you want to go Paycheck Protection Loan. I'll have a link in the description where you can apply for the PPP. It takes about 30 minutes. It's absolutely worth it if you can apply. EIDL advances are not loans, they're grants, don't require repayment. And the first payment is 1 year after you receive payment for the EIDL loan, and of course no payments for the grant. In order to apply for the loan, you can visit this link, and I'll have this document linked in the description, so you can click on all these on this PDF. These are all clickable. And if and when you need to pay for your EIDL loan, you can pay through pay.gov. And in order to apply for the EIDL target advance, again, they're going to send you that email. Number 7, can I apply for the COVID-19 EIDL if I already received a PPP loan? The answer is yes. You can get both, but you just can't double dip on what you're spending those on. They can't be used for the same purposes. The EIDL loan is a little bit more open as far as what you can spend it on. because it's not forgiven. Basically any business expense is eligible, but make sure that you keep good track of what you're spending this on, because you may need to report later what you spent the funds on. Number 8, what can I use the COVID-19 EIDL funds for? We just covered that. Basically any business expense, as you can see. Number 9, will the EIDL advance or targeted EIDL advance be subtracted from my PPP loan forgiveness? No, this was changed with the latest stimulus bill that happened in December. No longer is the advance subtracted from your PPP loan. That is an amazing change. I'm so glad that happened. Who is eligible for the COVID-19 EIDL? Pretty much any business with or cooperative or nonprofit with 500 or fewer employees. Ineligible businesses, if you're not eligible if you're engaged in illegal activities, loan packaging, speculation, multi-level sales distribution, gambling, investment, or lending. What if I'm not a U.S. citizen, but my business meets all the other criteria? You can apply if you are classified as a non-citizen national or a qualified alien. And there's some more definitions on this link. Again, this document will be in the description. What is the process to receive an SBA COVID-19 EIDL loan? So here's the quick 4-step process. You can go to this website. You're probably familiar with this website. You'll receive the loan quote, and then you'll receive the application review where you'll select how big of a loan you'll want, and then you'll submit that, and then you'll receive a decision as to whether you are approved or not. If you are approved, you're going to receive an email. Then the loan proceeds are going to be transferred to your bank, and then you will need to retain receipts or anything that you're spending these loan proceeds on. And you can make payments through pay.gov, or you can mail payments here. I mean, I personally wouldn't mail payments, but if you want to mail them, I guess you can. And it says payments should not be sent to the SBA Servicing Center, as that's going to result in a delay in processing. When mailing payments, make sure you include all of this business information. If you're declined the loan, you'll be sent a letter via email, and you can request reconsideration in writing for 6 months after the decline letter was sent to you. Again, reconsiderations can be sent to this email address, and some information that you'll want to include in your reconsideration. How can I check the status of my loan application? So you're going to receive an invitation to log into this portal, and it's going to, there's like a few step processes on the top bar. It'll tell you what step it's on. If it seems like it's stuck or it's been somewhere for a long time, you can go ahead and call their customer service or email them and get an answer as to what exactly is going on. I received an initial loan quote. Does that mean I've been approved? No, that's very common misconception here. So when you apply for the EIDL loan, you're going to be invited to go to a portal where you'll request the exact loan amount. You haven't been approved yet. You're requesting the loan amount. After you request that, electronically sign the documents, submit it. Then you're going to be emailed whether you're approved or not for the amount you requested. If I receive the loan, how do I make payments? Again, you can either pay pay.gov or you can mail it here, and you'll need to set up this borrower form. Again, this is all clickable on this document. And we already covered that. What if I don't need as much money as I've been approved for? So the first option, once you receive that loan quote, either in the portal, you can just choose a smaller amount, or option B, you can just return some of your funds and lower the loan amount. So it's very simple. Number 17, if I have a business partner, but he/she does not want to be included on the COVID-19 EIDL application, can I still apply? So all owners who own at least 20% of the business need to be included on the application, and you need to have 81% or more of the ownership of the business accounted for on the application. What if I didn't accept the full amount I was approved for? Can I get the full amount now? The answer is yes, you can. You just need to request an increase to get the additional funding. And in order to get the request, you'll send that to this email address. And along with the request, you need to include this business information, IRS Form 4506T, which is a transcript of your latest tax return. What if I need more money than I've been approved for? So the total amount is up to 6 months working capital, or a maximum of $150,000, whichever is less. An increase can be requested before or after accepting the loan. If the applicant is in urgent need of funds, accept the maximum loan amount offered and then request an increase. If you are approved for a loan and would like to request additional funds, send an email that states your need for an increase in the loan to this email, pdcrecons@sba.gov, with the word increase in the subject line. Include any additional information that may assist in the reconsideration for the increase in your application. And here's an example, your most recent tax return, and updated financials with your revenue, cost of goods sold, cost of operation, other sources of compensation. Now remember, this loan is based on your cost of goods sold, your operating costs. So if your operating costs went up, you're likely able to get a larger EIDL loan in the reconsideration. I have multiple businesses. Can I submit multiple COVID-19 EIDL loan applications? Yes, you can. Again, you just need to show at least 81% of the ownership for that business. I've been declined for an EIDL loan. What are the common reasons for that decline? Unsatisfactory credit history. This is a pretty common one. If you have poor credit, you can still get the PPP loan though. There's no consideration of credit for the PPP loan. Again, that's linked in the description if you want to apply for that. And I have tons of other videos on the PPP. Unverifiable information. Basically, they requested additional information. You didn't respond within 7 days, and they declined you because of that. Ineligible non-U.S. citizen status. Business activity is not eligible if you're in one of the few areas that aren't eligible. The economic injury is not substantiated. There's two possible reasons for this. The economic injury is less than the amount you received in the EIDL advance. So basically the amount of damage you're requesting is lower than the advance you already received, or the information you submitted doesn't indicate that you have any kind of economic injury. Or character reasons, if you're convicted of a felony or you were, for whatever reason, you're not able to receive a federal funding loan. Or you just simply didn't respond, which is similar to what they already said up top. If you didn't sign the loan documents or provide additional information that they requested. Can I request a reconsideration if my application is declined? And the answer is yes. You have 6 months to request reconsideration. And again, you need to include all this same information. Now, here's an example that I thought was pretty good as far as the reconsideration goes. Let's say you received that decline letter for your loan application from the SBA, and it's a common issue is the economic injury not substantiated as to why you were declined. And let's see here. This is common when an applicant's self-certified financial information on their streamlined applications, such as the figures for gross revenues and the cost of goods sold for the 12-month period prior to the pandemic, did not reflect an economic injury, or the information may have been left blank. So in order to request reconsideration for that, you can do that by email or letter, including a note from the applicant with your number, your application number, your business/entity name, your owner's names, a copy of the most recent federal tax return, completed and signed IRS Form 4506-T, copy of a voided check. Upon SBA's processing of the reconsideration, the SBA may request additional information to substantiate any additional claims that you may have made. Number 23, we're almost done here. If I have already received a COVID-19 EIDL and have been affected by another disaster, such as a flooding or wildfire event, can I request more funds? The answer is yes, if you're in a disaster declaration area, and they will be completely separate loans. In order to check that, you can go to this website here, and this is again clickable. 24, I've already received COVID-19 EIDL loan funds and my business has not recovered yet from the impacts of the COVID shutdowns. Would I qualify for more federal assistance? So they're saying you may request an increase in your existing SBA EIDL loan, and you can also apply for this program, the Economic Aid to Hard-Hit Small Businesses, Nonprofits, and Venues Act, or you can get a first or second drop PPP loan. And at this point, if you haven't applied for the EIDL grant, there's nothing in effect to open that up to just every single business. So you just have a few options here, and you might have to search for some local options as well. There might be some local grants or other options in your area. 25, if I get another disaster loan due to a different disaster event, can I consolidate the new loans? No, you can't. They are completely separate loans. 26, given that my business has not yet recovered from the COVID shutdowns, how can I handle repayment? Well, first is deferred for additional year, and then you can request an extension on that if you need to by calling this number or emailing this email address. 27, How is the process for applying for a natural disaster loan different from the COVID-19 EIDL process? So the portal is a little bit different, and there's two different kinds of assistance programs. Physical damage loans, economic injury loans are slightly different from one another. Again, you just have to start the application to see the exact specifics as to what's different. I'm going to show a few different programs right at the end here. How does the SBA define gross revenue / receipts? It's basically any income are gross receipts. You can see income from whatever source, including the sales of products or services, interest, dividends, rents, royalties, fees, or commissions, reduced by returns and allowances for the applicant business. How does the SBA define cost of goods sold? I think there's a lot of confusion on this one. Cost of goods sold refers to the direct cost of producing the goods sold by a company. This amount includes the materials and labor directly used to create the good. Now, if you're a service business, if you just offer a service, chances are your costs of goods sold are fairly low. If you create a product, they're probably fairly high relative to revenue. What if somebody stole my identity? You can do this identity theft letter, and they'll pull it off your credit if someone did steal your identity and apply for one of these loans. And why am I still receiving monthly statements after I reported my theft to the SBA, identity theft? You might continue to receive monthly statements while the SBA is working to review your identity theft documents and to address the open loan debt. Now, just to finish off real quick here are just all the different SBA disaster assistance programs. Now, many of these probably are new to you. You can check these out. So I'm just going to read off the types of assistance: business disaster loans, economic injury loan, economic injury loans for other disasters. We talked about that a little bit. Military reservist economic injury disaster loan, home loans, real estate, home loans, personal property, and mitigation. Feel free to pause that and look at the specifics if any of those apply for you directly. So I just thought that this document was extremely helpful. I hope it was helpful to you. And again, this will be linked in the description so you can click the various links if something applies to you. You need a form, you need to get to some application process. And that's going to do it for today. I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.